Life is designed to give the people who seek what they want. If you ask, you shall get. If you have a challenge, go out and look for solutions. Get on YouTube, type how you feel, go on Google. I feel nasty today. How can I help myself? You will see something that can guide you to some other thing that can lead you to a podcast like this, which can change your mind and can change your perspective. Right? We need to be active in saving our own selves. The game of life, where we are today, you have to own your destiny. Nobody is coming to save nobody.
Tell us more about Gustav.
What more can I say? Right? Well, basically, I'm originally from Cameroon. As you know, grew up in Cameroon. I went to school out there, finished high school, finished university in Cameroon, came to the US at the age of 23. Father of three beautiful girls, right? And just like you said, the things that drive me, I usually like to distinguish that, right? There is a job and there is your work. It's important, right? In my mind, in my spirit, there's a distinction. Your job is what you pay to do, your work is what you're born to do. Right? You can retire from your job, you never retire from your work, right? Your job can change your financial circumstance, your work changes your legacy. Are we together? So, yes, in terms of my job, what I'm paid to do, I'm an IT professional on a day to day basis, work for multiple Fortune 500 companies. But in terms of my work, I am passionate and I'm committed to serve not only as a keynote inspirational speaker, but I'm a fullness in living and business coach, right? I help people perform peakly on their businesses and also find it in themselves to be able to be the best version of themselves. And the reason why I get drawn to do that, in addition to my MC work, which I do a lot for passion, the reason why I get drawn to do that is because of my own experiences. When I came to America at the age of 23, at the age of 23 years ago, I hope I don't look 46. I look 30 probably.
You look like 28. 28. You pass for 28.
I,
I'm still
I can
older than him.
I can
I'm
pass for
still
28.
older.
Eh?
I don't care. I'm still older. I'm
You know,
wearing my big sister shoe.
when I came to America 23 years ago, I realized we were not prepared. We were not trained to believe in ourselves. And then we find ourselves in a country where self belief is one of the most important tools to achieve anything you ever dream about. Number one. Number two, we were not raised and trained to believe that dreams can come true.
Yeah.
We're not raised and trained to believe, like the young boy who got up behind the lawn in their home. If you know baseball, he picked up his baseball bat, he picked up a ball, he went behind their house, and he would throw the ball in the air and try to hit it. While doing that, he's telling himself, I'm the greatest hitter the world has ever seen. And as he tried hitting, he kept missing. He threw it the third time, he missed. He threw it the fourth time, I'm the greatest hitter. Boom, he missed. And then he caught the ball the fifth time and he said, No, I am the greatest pitcher. Because when you pitch, the pitcher's role is to pitch and make sure you're not able to hit it. And then it sank in now to him, right?
What his role was.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We were not trained to believe that our dreams can come true.
Yeah.
That is why I talked earlier about preparing not only the fear of failure, but the fear of success. Because our minds are not naturally wired to believe that we deserve the best, that we deserve to be great, that we deserve to be successful. Think about it. The statistics here in America says about 24% of African immigrants coming into America have some kind of college education. About 40% have a GED, right? We are beautiful people, good looking. Look at you. Look at all Africans, right? They're articulate, educated people. Why aren't we great? Why aren't we yet creating an impact in this country? Don't forget, we are playing amongst the top in terms of earning capacity, in terms of the variation of different professions we are involved. Why aren't we stepping out, opening our chest and stepping up and saying we belong to the table? You know, it's usually said if you're not sitting on the table, you are most likely the menu. Are we together?
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Oh, my
So,
goodness.
so,
Nuggets.
so and I say this in all honesty, right?
Yeah.
Because when I analyze it, I realize to myself, Gustav, the question is not our education. The question is our learnedness.
Yeah.
Our learnedness means our extreme focus on specific process without lifting our head to look what is happening. You and me
Mindset.
went to school by Form 3. At the very young age of 14, somebody is telling me I'm an art student.
Yeah.
I got to study only literature,
Okay.
history. And nobody told me, listen, we are living in a world today where literature is important, history is important, yes. But you have to make sure you also implement STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. That is the present, that is the future.
Yes.
My children are taking online classes today on coding. I don't care what you want to do, you have to know how to code on the computer. I don't care who you are.
Back home, if you went to a technical school, you were looked at as the dumb
Exactly.
person, right? Like you were dumb.
Exactly.
We didn't think about that. And you're
Exactly.
talking about taking a direction, art, science.
Yeah.
I stopped learning math at some point because a teacher told me I wasn't good enough. So
Exactly.
I shut down. But look at me.
Absolutely.
I came here, I'm doing prereqs and end up in the medical field,
Exactly.
doing that because somebody told me I wasn't good enough.
Absolutely.
And so I shut
Absolutely.
down until somebody picked me up and said, no, we're going to take 2 weeks and prepare for math for GCE.
Of
Ended up
course.
with a C,
Of course.
could have been an A.
Absolutely.
But somebody shut that dream down. But think about it's the background that we have. We have very educated parents
Mhm.
who, they believe in the 5 fingers of life. If anybody has seen that picture of the 5 fingers, the first three on the fingers are what? Engineering, medicine, science
Mhm.
on the 5 fingers of life. The fourth one is politics.
Okay.
So the A students, where do they go?
Engineering.
The first three,
Uh-huh.
those who were the top in the class, right? They
Correct.
become the doctor, the
Uh-huh.
scientist, the technologist. The fourth one, politics. The B student goes there because
Uh-huh.
you're like, okay, I'm not going to do all that. I'm going
Uh-huh.
to be politician.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The fifth finger is business, money.
That's right.
But who ends up hiring the doctor,
Are the
engineer?
money
Is the money
people?
person.
That's right.
But
That's right.
nobody tells us when we're growing up that
Yeah.
start thinking as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Stop thinking as a business owner. Start
Yes.
thinking about owning your own
Yes.
instead of you
Yes.
clocking in and clocking out for somebody.
Correct.
I'm not saying jobs are bad. I came
Oh,
from one.
it's absolutely
I came from
beautiful.
one before I got on this podcast. I
Absolutely.
work because I
Correct.
believe in what I do. I believe in my career. But
Correct.
I also believe in helping people build that dream. And that's why
Absolutely.
we're here talking about this.
Absolutely.
Because there are people who have made up their mind that they've come to this country, the opportunities are not what they thought it was, but they don't want to pivot
Mhm.
to something that will
Mhm.
work for them. So that's why we're having this conversation today, because we need to talk to somebody. We need
Absolutely.
to talk to somebody out there who's maybe giving up.
Mhm.
Talk to somebody who's trying to give up on life.
Absolutely.
How do we mentor these people? I mean, we need to be able to mentor people, even people when someone who comes in today from say Cameroon, right?
Yeah.
How do we mentor that person to already start thinking in this direction
Mhm.
without them looking at you like, oh, Gustav, yeah, you went and got your degree. Now you don't want me to. You're telling me
Mhm.
about this
And
dream.
mhm.
How do we speak to people like that?
You know what I say is very simple, right? It's very important to understand that all the things you've said are still good paths, right? It's important. You can get a degree if that is part of the plan. You can, all these things is important. Nobody is refusing, right? What I really advocate for, number one, is finding a way to also look deep in your heart. What music is your heart beating for,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Listen, I was listening to one of my mentors, Les Brown, and this is what it says. It says the highest rate of heart attack in America is on Monday mornings. Do you know why? Because 80% of people go to jobs they hate. So they wake up in the morning and the heart says, you again going to that?
You again.
Okay, that's so bad. But I think the important thing, first of all, is to understand the concept of ownership.
Yeah.
Ownership doesn't necessarily mean not everyone is born to be an entrepreneur.
No.
I agree.
Yes.
But ownership means taking responsibility and ownership for your life. If you want to be a sweeper, be the best sweeper there is. If you want to be a gas station operator, be the best gas
Mhm.
station operator there is, right? If you want to be a doctor, be the best doctor there is. We have a wide variety of
Yes.
all these careers, right? But if somebody is sitting out there, one of the reasons I drove today to from Austin to come and talk to you
Yes,
is
he
because
did.
I believe somebody can make use of this information.
Yeah.
You see, the mind is very powerful. And a lot of times we spend our times feeding our bodies, feeding our physical bodies, right? We exercise, we want to lose weight, we eat less, we go to the gym, we build muscle, we do all of these things, but we never feed what drives the body, which is the mind,
Mhm.
right? And until that mind is fed, the body cannot be nourished. So it's easy, therefore, to look at life and see darkness, and somebody else looks at it and sees light. I'm reminded of a story of this old lady who would get up every morning. She was retired. She used to be a nurse. She would get up every morning, sit in her living room. There was a big glass window in front of her, right? And every day, her neighbors would come and dry their clothes on the laundry line. And she would look through her glass window and she kept wondering, why would they come and dry dirty clothes? It doesn't make sense. Why would they come and dry dirty clothes? And so one day, her son-in-law came over and visited and looked at her window and said, "Oh, grandma, it's very dirty. We need to clean it." And he cleaned her window. And the next day, she looked through the window and noticed that the clothes were
We're
clean.
clean.
Her window glass
Yes.
was
What
what
was
was
dirty?
dirty.
Yeah.
Are we together?
Yes.
So, for a lot of people who sit out there and they want to give up, the opportunities are
Yeah.
there. Just take out your glasses,
Clean them.
clean them up, and put them on again
Those Gucci glasses,
and
right?
see what changes. Are we together?
Yes.
Exactly. You can tell the
Yes.
passion is oozing
It's
out
there.
of
I
me,
know, right?
right?
It's like pouring out.
I can't wait. So that is something,
Yes.
right? It's also important to understand that life is designed to give the people who seek what they want.
Yeah.
They say if you seek, you will find.
Yes.
If you ask, you shall get.
Mhm.
Right? If you have a challenge, go out and look for solutions.
Yeah.
Get on YouTube, type how you feel, go on Google. I feel nasty today. How can I be help myself?
Yeah.
You will see something that can guide you to some other thing that can lead you to a podcast like this,
Yeah.
which can change your mind
Oh
and can
wow.
change your perspective.
Yes.
Right? We need to
Yes.
be active in saving our own selves.
Mhm.
I don't know if it makes
Yes,
sense.
you
It's
do.
like I'm driving on the highway going to Austin at midnight and
Mhm.
my car broke down. I'm sitting by my car and Philip or one of my friends stops by or a stranger stops by with a big truck and says, "Sir, do you need some help?" I said, "No, no, 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 no. I don't need no help. I'm fine." I'm not even helping my own
Yeah.
self to save myself.
Yeah.
Are we together?
Yeah.
You must be a little aggressive with your life. You must be a little bit audacious with your life. It's not enough to just sit back, develop this victim mentality, and don't do nothing. Of course, I have a lot of empathy if it's a medical condition.
Mhm.
We know sometimes life beats you down to
Yeah.
the point where you could get depressed. And if it's that kind of case, please seek medical help.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of help, right?
Mhm.
But the life we live today, the game of life where we are today,
Mhm.
you have to own your
Yes,
destiny.
we do.
You
Oh
just
wow.
you just have to. There is
Yes.
no other way around it. Nobody is coming to save nobody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking to an Indian friend of mine. We used to work together at Accenture, one of the top consulting, right? I didn't even hear about this is like maybe 6, 7 years ago. I didn't even know about this institute. Do you know the hardest university to get into in this world? It's not Harvard, it's not Stanford, it's not Oxford, it's the Indian Institute of Technology. Over 14 million applications, and they want a couple of hundred of students.
Wow.
So you got to be the best
Yeah.
of the best of
Yeah.
the best of the best. Is there any surprise why the top technology companies in America today have CEOs from India?
Mhm. Interesting.
Are we
Wow.
together?
Wow.
We have to also
Wow.
understand
Yeah.
because we can learn certain things from these different communities, right? I
Mhm.
was listening to a podcast yesterday by Miles Monroe. May his soul rest in peace. Great guy, pastor out of I think Barbados or so, but he was here in the US.
Mhm.
And this guy, he said he went one time, Sony invited him to come and do a coaching for their executives and their managers on leadership and the good stuff. So he went to the Sony plant in Malaysia. And the first day he dealt with the everyday staff, the second day he dealt with the managers, the third day he dealt with with the executives. And after he finished, the CEO said, "You know what? Man, I like what you do. Can we go out for lunch?" And by the time they got to the lunch restaurant, the CEO was there with all the executives, and all of them had notepads. They said, "We still want to pick your brain." So they started picking his brain, asking him different questions as they were chatting. And then he turned around and he asked them, "But listen, I have something I've always wondered about. You guys help me. Everywhere I go in the world, the Chinese have businesses in some of the poorest parts of town. How come?" And they looked at each other because some of them were Chinese. They looked at each other and they said, "You know what? That's a question we ask ourselves to all the time." And then one of them said, but I'm just guessing that this is the reason. It's a difference in mindset. When a Chinese man comes into a community, he's asking himself, what kind of business can I start? When an African immigrant comes into a community, they're asking themselves, where can I get a job? You see the difference?
Yes. Yes.
You see the difference?
Yes.
Even when the Chinese works, he's working temporarily to raise money to start a business. I'm not saying everybody has to start a business. No. But I'm saying that kind of mindset is what pushes you to compete in the world of today. I don't know if it makes sense. I know young brothers of mine who are medical doctors, who are nurse practitioners, who are CRNAs, and you know what they are doing for a living today, even though they practice, but what is giving them and taking them to the American millionaire dream is real estate investing. I know them. I'm not saying these are people I know, right? It doesn't mean $300,000, $400,000 a year is not big. That is huge money. Only about 5% of America makes that kind of money. But they're saying if your dream is bigger than that, then you also have to change the playing field where you're playing in. But before you change the playing field, you have to change your mind. You have to believe that you belong to that playing field, right?
Because we have to think about a legacy.
Absolutely.
Generational wealth.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
I mean, I talk about that a lot in other videos and on my other, platform, but it's all about us getting out of that mindset of I'm only going to think about today.
Absolutely.
Or Saturday or next week instead of thinking about 3 to 4 generations down.
Yes.
What am I can't hand over my nurse practitioner
no, you cannot.
degree to my
no,
kids.
you cannot.
I can't. If I pass away today,
that's it. It's over.
Stream ends.
It's over.
But we have to start thinking about those things that we can hand down. Our dream has to be big enough where we need to get out of that trapped mindset of we're in a nightmare. We're not in a nightmare.
No, there isn't.
Switch it around because we've talked about mindset. Mindset, it starts from up there
Correct.
and goes all the way down. So if you're, we want to get out of that where, it's only about me. It's about, my immediate family. The community needs us. Yes, generational, teach the generation how to keep that going. That
Correct.
whole mindset. Yes, not everybody has to be a business owner, but we have to get to that point where we're not thinking scarcity.
Absolutely. We're thinking abundance.
Yes, I'm a pastor's kid, right?
Absolutely.
PK.
Absolutely.
Grew up where in the church
Absolutely.
they keep telling you it almost sounds like poverty is, it equals to humility.
No.
Holiness and humility. But that same church needs my tithes.
Absolutely.
The same church needs me when the church is when they're doing a building fund. They need to build a new church.
Where would the money come from?
Where is it going to come from?
Absolutely.
If I'm staying humble and poor.
Absolutely.
So we have to get out of that mindset. And that same dad of mine, he's gonna be watching this. He'll be on this show one of these days.
Absolutely.
I'm talking
about lovely guy.
Yes,
I love him.
Yes, I already have a segment
for him
that he's gonna start
Absolutely.
living, writing your autobiography while you're alive.
Awesome.
Because he believes in that.
I think so too.
Write that story as you're alive.
We don't leave a lot for posterity.
So he'll be on the show, and I'll ask him some questions. I get to ask my dad questions.
That'll be interesting. That'll be fun.
But yeah.